a lot happening. Greg, have you got the yellow R? Take your time. Take your time. No hurry. No hurry. There we are. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Make sure this is on silent. Yeah, that's on silent. We got this.
There's a battle.
There's a battle. Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Farley, host of The Grace Message. Got a Bible question? Struggling with a personal issue? Wondering about a tricky verse? At BibleQuestions.com, you'll get clear, grace-based answers in 10 seconds or less. No fluff, no confusion, just practical biblical truth. Ask anything, anytime, and experience the power of God's love. Visit BibleQuestions.com. That's BibleQuestions.com, your go-to for biblical clarity.
Jesus plus nothing. 100% natural, no additives. Andrew Farley is celebrating your freedom in Christ. Call in and ask your questions at 877-655-6755. That's toll free at 877-655-6755. Via satellite from Texas, it's The Grace Message with Dr. Andrew Farley.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Grace Message. I'm Andrew Farley. So glad you're joining us tonight. That number to call, 877-655-6755. We got 3 open lines, room for you right now. Maybe you've got a question tonight about your personal life, something going on right now in your marriage, with your kids, in your church. You're looking for some answers. That is exactly why we're here for you. And maybe you heard something in church recently, or chatting with a friend in a coffee shop, or scrolling through social media. Something that you're just not sure about and you want to put it to the test. Well, again, that's exactly why we're here at The Grace Message every single weeknight at this time. We are live on Sirius XM, all kinds of FM and AM stations, and of course, we're live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, our mobile app, and our website. It doesn't matter how you're listening right now. You can simply call in and be a part of tonight's interaction, and we would love to have you. I'm going to give you that number once again, 877-655-6755. If you're a first-time caller, please know we love it. We love to hear from our first-time callers. We want to hear from our veteran callers as well. So join us right now. That number once again with 2 open lines. You can dive in right now, 877-655-6755. All right, we're going to start out tonight in Georgia, and we'll talk with Al. Hi, Al. What you got for us tonight, my friend?
Yes, sir. How you doing today? Okay?
Hey, great. I'm doing great. Yeah. What's on your mind?
Yeah, my mind is this question of, a lot of sinners or even Christians themselves, they like to quote Matthew 7:1. They say that nobody can judge them, only God.
Oh, yeah.
So I prefer them to judge me than to God to judge me. If you compare to Matthew 10:28, God got the power to cast my body and soul into hell. Human beings don't. So I prefer the human being to judge me than God to judge me.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so you're talking about Matthew 7:1. I mean, it says, "Do not judge, so that you will not be judged." People stop there. They pull the verse out of context. They say, whoa, relax. Would you chill? Would you pipe down, my friend? Come on. Jesus says, don't judge. And that's true, but let's also remember where Matthew 7:1 is. It doesn't just say don't judge. It doesn't just sit there and say, well, let's all lay back and be grace hippies and not make any judgment calls and not worry about anything and it's all good with God and all of that. No, this is a death sentence. Let me read it, Matthew 7:1. But let me go ahead and continue into verse 2 because ouch, ouch. Do not judge so that you will not be judged. For in the way that you judge, you will be judged. And by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you. Whoa, now that's going to leave a mark. In other words, what Jesus is saying is, you're toast. Don't judge anybody. And by the way, if you do judge them, then you're going to be judged by the same standard. Again, that puts all of us in the place of, number one, hypocrisy, number two, absolute condemnation. Because if we judge somebody else, then the same measure is put on us. Now, let's keep reading. It says, why do you look at the speck that's in your brother's eye? Don't you notice you have a log in your eye? And how can you say, hey, brother, let me take that speck out of your eye when you're sitting there with a log in your own eye? And then it goes on, it says, don't give what is holy to dogs and don't throw your pearls before swine. Well, let me ask you, how would you know what's swine? How would you know what's a dog unless you were doing some judging? So apparently he says, do not judge, but then somehow you're supposed to figure out who the dogs are and who the swine are. And by the way, if you do any judging, then the same measure of judging is going to come back on you. Can you see it? You're trapped. You're painted into a corner. You're toast. You got no hope. And that is the whole point of this sermon. And it kills every single one of us. If we rewind, well, what do we see? We see cut off your hand, pluck out your eye, be perfect. We could go on. But the standard is absolutely in the clouds, and nobody can get over the bar. They can't reach that high enough. They just can't reach that high. So what you're seeing there, Al, is a death sentence. It's nails in the coffin of anybody who thinks they can keep the law. And it's the law on steroids. It's Moses 2.0. It's exactly what you would think it is when Jesus says, you've heard it said this, and then I tell you, no, it's this. You've heard, watch out for murder, because please don't murder people, would you? Would you stop all your murdering? And then Jesus says, but no, actually, if you get mad at somebody, if you get ticked off, if you get angry, it's the same as killing them. So he's taking the bar and raising it. He's reaching out and really just grabbing them by the scruff of their neck and saying, hey, do you realize what kind of hypocrite you are here? You're expecting forgiveness from God when you don't forgive others. You're expecting freedom from judgment from God when you're running around judging others. So it's a death sentence. And I get it. I mean, you want me to pop over to Matthew 10, and that's a different situation. But Matthew 10, verse 28, it says, don't fear those who kill the body but are unable to kill the soul. Instead, fear him who's able to destroy both the soul and the body in hell. So he's saying, are you trying to people please? Are you really worried about the Romans or the Jews? Are you really worried about the Pharisees or the Sanhedrin? Are you really worried about the authorities of today that could throw you in prison? Or are you more concerned with what the God of the universe thinks of you? So God's the judge. And so this is a sister passage, I guess you could say, but it is a different context. Back in the Sermon on the Mount, everybody's toast. And here the advice is, how about you care more? How about you care more about what God thinks than what man thinks? So I hope that's helpful to you, Al. I appreciate you bringing these passages up tonight, and we want to hear from you again there in Georgia. All right, let's go to Ohio and talk with Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl. What you got for us tonight?
Hi. So I heard that, I learned, I guess, that Satan cannot read our thoughts our mind.
Right.
So if that's the case, what puts the evil thoughts, the mean thoughts in our head?
Yeah. Well, we have a couple of players. Number one, we're going to call it the power of sin. Another term for that is indwelling sin, the power of sin, the sin principle, whatever you want to call it, but it's three letters, S-I-N. And I know that most of the Christian world, when we start to talk and shop, people don't really realize what sin is. They think that we're talking about a verb, I sin, you sin, we sin, lying and cheating and stealing. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not talking about a verb. I'm not talking about how you and I run around sinning. I'm talking about a power called sin. It is a noun, and in fact, it has person-like characteristics. So if you took a little journey over to your Barnes & Noble or your Christian bookshop and you grabbed a copy of Vine's Expository Dictionary, you could open it and crack it open to that word sin, and it would say hamartia in the Greek, and then it would say it's a personified power that has person-like characteristics, and it can operate through your body. Now, that doesn't mean that Satan is omnipresent. No, Satan can only be in one place at one time. Satan's just an angel. Remember that. I think we make a whole lot out of Satan as if he's a superhero with magical powers, but really Satan is a fallen angel, and that's it. He's an angel that fell. So he can only be in one place at one time. He's not omnipresent. And secondly, he's not omniscient. He's not all-knowing. God is all-knowing, but Satan is not. So Satan cannot read your mind, and we're not talking about Satan. We're not talking about one created being. We're talking about a power called sin. So sin is this personified power. That means that when Adam and Eve fell, it says sin entered the world, and that's how death entered. So there's this force, this power called sin, and it is a tempter. It is a tempter. That is why, just think about it. You could be, as a Christian, we could say, well, Cheryl, I'm going to ask you to go live in this room over here, this isolated room. You're going to be the only one there for a solid year. And, well, you'll have food. You'll have enough food for a year, and you won't have any human interaction. You'll be all by yourself. And, we're going to make sure that Satan never visits you, not once, because he's real busy with the other 8 billion people on the planet. Well, guess what? You would still face temptation. You would still get those thoughts. It's not Satan, and it's not your best buddies, and it's not your worst enemies. It is a power called sin. And so that's what I think a lot of Christians don't understand, is that there is this personified power that entered the world, and it has access to your brain. It doesn't mean it's reading your thoughts, but it can send you thoughts. And so that's how Romans 6 starts to make a whole lot more sense. Have you ever heard the idea that we've died to sin? We've died to sin. How can we live in it any longer? And then it says, do not let sin reign, so that you obey its lusts. So who do the lusts belong to? They belong to it. Don't let it reign, so that you obey its lusts. So I'm going to give you a couple of analogies. I mean, it's like if I ran my hand down a wood table and I got a splinter, and a splinter ended up inside my hand, and started experiencing all kinds of pain messages to my brain. And I go to the doc and I say, Doc, I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened, but my hand is killing me. And he says, well, Andrew, I don't know. I've looked at it. I don't see anything, but you're right. It's real swollen. It's real painful. I think we're going to have to amputate. And I say, amputate? Well, I'm going to get a second opinion before we do that. So I go to the second doctor, and he says, no, Andrew, relax. It's not you. It's not your hand. It's something in you. It's something in you that's not you. And then he says it's a splinter. Well, boy, that's a big revelation. I got something working in me that's not me. So that's how the power of sin is. Another example might be like a parasite. You go to a third world country, you're walking across the beach, and a parasite burrows up in your foot. Same thing. Your foot swells up, all kinds of pain going to the brain, and you think, man, I'm going to have to chop my leg off here. What is this? And then you get that revelation. No, it's something in me, a parasitic power, like a parasite, like a splinter, like something that is causing the problem. It's in me, but it's not me. And that's what Paul is teaching in Romans 6, that we as unbelievers had this power of sin operating in us, and it controlled us. We were slaves of sin. See, that makes more sense now. I was a slave of the parasite. I was a slave of the power of sin. And now I've died to sin. That means its power is cut off from me. You might say it's all bark and no bite. So I still get the nasty thoughts, but I don't have to listen to them. I still get the temptations, but I can say no to them. It's all bark and no bite. That's what it means to be dead to sin and alive to God. So that would be the source of temptation. Then, of course, we run around acting like idiots sometimes, don't we, as Christians? And the reason is because we don't have perfect thinking. We have stinking thinking. We have some old attitudes going. So our memory banks aren't perfect. Our brains aren't perfect. And we're still experiencing the renewing of the mind. So you could call that fleshly thinking or worldly thinking. So the power of sin tempts us, and sometimes we're just suckers for it because we're still growing and we're still learning and we still have that fleshly thinking. So it's not Satan, it's not a fallen angel, it's not a demon. None of those are omnipresent, but sin is always present in the world. Wherever you go, sin can tempt you. So I want to put you back on and see, does that make sense? Does that help explain it?
100%. Yes, I'm totally. Thank
Awesome.
you for that.
Yes. Now let me just share one more minute about the flip side for everybody. All right, so now you understand where the nasty thoughts are coming from. Now you understand where the sinful thoughts are originating from. So that helps you believe your new identity. I can't tell you how many Christians go, well, boy, I love what you're saying about our new identity in Christ, but I got to tell you, it's just not real for me. And I say, why not? And they say, well, because I still get all the nasty thoughts. I still get all the perverted thoughts. I get the jealous thoughts, the selfish thoughts, the lustful thoughts. And I say, well, what if we could explain that? What if you could still be a new creature in Christ, and yet there's a power that is working against you, a power that is operating in you, but it is not you? And then they go, oh, okay, well, let's talk. And then once we see the power of sin, we can also see our new identity a whole lot clearer. So, Cheryl, thanks for your call tonight. I'm glad you asked that question. And folks, let me just say right now, this month we happen to have a new resource that's all about that. It is called Mindset Reset, and it's all about learning who you are, but also learning who you're not, that you are not every thought that hits your brain. You are not the sum total of your recent thinking. So here's just a bit about our new resource. We want to give it away to each and every supporter, anybody that gives their gift in the month of November. Just check the box and make sure you request your copy of Mindset Reset. There's a battle, and it's happening in your mind. Right at the gateway between your brain and your mind, you can get all kinds of thoughts, and you might not know what to do about them. Sometimes our thoughts scare us. If I'm really a Christian, if I'm truly saved, a child of God, then why am I thinking what I'm thinking right now? You know, those are important questions, and they help us understand our identity in Christ. Where are the thoughts coming from? How do I take them captive? What does it mean to count myself dead to sin and alive to God? Well, this new resource we have in November is all about your mindset. It's called Mindset Reset. It's all about what it means to learn and grow in God's grace, getting to know your new identity, saying no to sin, saying no to those nasty thoughts, but also saying yes to the beautiful thoughts about who you really are in Jesus Christ. So make sure to request your copy of Mindset Reset when you give your gift this month. And thank you so much for your support. All right. Well, again, that is called Mindset Reset. We want to put it in your hands, and it's very simple. Just to request a copy of it when you give your gift this month. It's our way of saying thank you, thank you, thank you. We have so much planned for the months of December, January, February. We got new projects to help youth, to help children. We're continuing to see BibleQuestions.com explode across the globe. We're now reaching 65 countries and giving answers, over 2 million answers in, dozens and dozens of languages around the planet. So our ministry is growing and exploding, and if you want to help us reach even more people, you can give your gift this month at andrewfarley.org. Of course, that is a tax-deductible gift, and here at the end of the year, it is the most important time for any ministry, but I can tell you it is the most important time of the year for us because we have so much excitement building around these new projects and all of the growth that is already occurring, and it's real simple. The more support we have, the more people we can reach. It's literally a perfect correlation. When it comes to BibleQuestions.com, promoting that, getting that in front of more eyeballs, the same thing with all of our digital resources, putting those in front of more eyeballs means more people get to see the truth about God's grace, the truth about the gospel, the truth about a new identity in Christ and what that means. So it's a powerful opportunity. I encourage you to give your gift this month. We want to send you a Mindset Reset. And just think about all the lives that are transformed when you support the grace message. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It takes just 2 minutes to give your gift at andrewfarley.org. All right, well, let's go to Washington State, and we'll talk with Yelena. Hi, Yelena, what you got for us tonight?
Thank you very much for taking my call.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
I came from a country where we never had to deal with Halloween stuff.
Uh-huh.
And every time you go through social media, churches, I'm confused. Churches in America are truly participating in putting kids in all kind of costumes, mm-hmm. evil and not evil, and bloody costumes, and it's okay. And when I look at that, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling that aren't we giving food to the devil, to the devil, so he can actually use this opportunity to do whatever he wants to do? Are we not guarding our, selves, our souls, or is just something that does not exist and it's okay to take?
Where are you from originally?
Soviet Union.
Okay. All right. Well, I hear you, Yelena. I love the question. I think it's real relevant since we just celebrated what you're talking about, October 31st, our nation, our world. Certainly, a lot of people did celebrate that or engage in activities like giving out candy, trick-or-treating, dressing up in costumes, and all of that. So first, you got to know you're seeing dozens and dozens, hundreds of denominations within Christianity. So there is no consensus. There's no agreement, hey, this is across the board scriptural or unscriptural, or this is okay and this is not. You're not going to find agreement among 100 different denominations plus. So don't treat it as if it's one cohesive message about Halloween. Now, obviously, I agree. If we're dressing people up as demonic figures and things that are related to satanic concepts, then that is not of God, and we shouldn't do that. We should run for the hills from that. At the same time, this is not a righteousness issue. and there is some freedom in Christ. So we could show people a little bit of grace when their kids love Starburst candies and they're dressing up like SpongeBob SquarePants and they're going out and getting some M&Ms and they're coming home with thankfulness in their heart. So if we take a grace perspective, we can say, yes, let's avoid sin, but let's also give some grace.
For more information on the broadcast ministry of Dr. Andrew Farley, please visit andrewfarley.org. That's andrewfarley.org. Join us next time as we invite you to celebrate the grace message with Dr. Andrew Farley. This program is sponsored by your generous financial support.
Hi, I'm Andrew Farley. I hope you enjoyed today's program. And if you have more questions, whether it's about a Bible verse, a personal struggle, or anything on your heart, BibleQuestions.com is here for you. You'll get clear, grace-based answers in 10 seconds or less. No confusion, no judgment, just practical truth that meets you right where you are. Whatever's on your mind, you'll find real answers rooted in God's love. Visit BibleQuestions.com. That's BibleQuestions.com.